Let's talk about open houses.
Awesome.
So I'm sitting here with one of my favorite people in the whole world, Miss Kristin. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, Carl.
Open houses. So open houses. By the way, does the handsome Miss Simpson know how lucky he is?
I try
Does
to
he?
remind him every day, but I'm not quite sure.
Well, you make sure he listens to this episode of the podcast, and
I absolutely will.
you're an amazing person, and I love working with you. You've helped so many loan officers across the nation. How many, on average, how many do you talk to in a day? How many loan officers do you talk to? And I'm not talking about the hundreds that are on Breakfast Club.
Right.
Like in a period of a week, you talk to dozens.
I probably do about of 7 really in-depth calls with people all over the country, loan officers, branch managers, you name it, every single day. And then, obviously I'm following up with more. So
That's an
it's
amazing
a lot
number.
of activity. Yeah.
So you talk to a bunch of them.
Mhm.
You know, you've learned what works, what doesn't work, just by hearing all their stories, not along with your own, research and studies that you do. So open houses, still a very, very, very powerful thing to do.
Right.
But you were just telling me so we're going to tell you how to really, really, really monetize these truly in an epic way. And I would say it's not oftentimes, we hear the old things, how do you 10 times your efforts? This
Mhm.
literally will 10 times your efforts. You were just telling me before we hit the record button the story of somebody that went to go help somebody own the open house. And I don't know if I don't know if you use their name or not, because they didn't do anything wrong or
Yeah.
anything. What happened was kind of interesting. So tell us what happened again.
Yeah, so I was talking to somebody yesterday, and he was newer in the business, maybe 6 to 8 months, right? And one of the things he was trying to do to get his feet wet, and he kind of laughed and said, "Oh, I'm cutting my teeth by doing this, just getting comfortable having conversations," which I understood. But he said, "I've been reaching out to real estate agents and kind of saying, 'Hey, are you doing an open house this weekend? I'd love to work it with you.'" Right? And so he shows up to one of these open houses, and the real estate agent goes, "Man, this is awesome. Thank you so much," and leaves and goes mountain biking. And he's standing there at the open house, like, "Wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be running this by myself." But
So the loan officer, that is so funny. I have never
yeah,
heard that by chance.
so I said, "I go, well, that's a new one for me."
Yeah. So the agent bailed, left the loan officer in charge, and that's very interesting.
Yep.
So so a couple things about open houses. So rule number one is make sure that the agent is qualified. Kristen and I just saw the newest report from the NAR of what percentage of agents are qualified. By qualified, it's like 8 buy sides or more in the last 12 months. And we were looking at this little report, and it said that I think it was 3%,
Mhm.
only 3% of agents uh, had at least 20 total closings for the year. And we're going to assume half buy side, half listings by definition. So that means that 3% closed 10 or more, which is slightly less than one a month on the buy side. 3%. So if you just randomly show up in an open house, you got a 97% chance of that not working out so well. They don't have anybody to refer to you, right? Easy enough.
Right.
Not that you're doing anything wrong. And that's a problem I think a lot of times, Kristen, is people, loan officers go to the open house and they go to three or four or five and they did that for the last, 8 weekends instead of spending time with their family. And they show up at work and they don't get any referrals from them. They go, dang, that didn't work.
Mhm.
And it's not that it's a bad strategy. It's just number one, I don't like it because it took up your weekend, and for me, that's the time I recharge my battery and spend time with my family or reading a book or whatever it is that I want to do. Uh, Number two, uh, you're just randomly showing up. The odds you have a 97% chance that that agent has no buyers to refer you to in the first place, and so it's bad enough that you don't get any referrals, but worse, it poisons our minds into thinking, hey, this doesn't work. Nobody has any buyers. Nobody's buying. And you start putting those superlative words like everybody, nobody, never. Those things start circling in my head, which is absolutely poison. And it's
Right.
and it's not that it's a bad strategy. It's frankly it's an okay strategy. It's just you're doing it, or most loan officers aren't doing it the most optimal way, and they're not qualifying the agents before they show up to the open house in the first place. And odds are, even if it's being held by, say, Kristin Simpson, realtor extraordinaire that's knocking out of the park, odds are at that open house, she's not going to be there. It's
Yeah.
one of her junior realtors is going to be there instead. So likely you're not going to meet that qualified agent anyway, even if they, and I'm using they in air quotes here, even if they are having an open house, likely they're not going to even be there.
Yeah. And you can really dilute your efforts by doing this, running around and feeling like I'm doing all this activity and I'm not seeing any results. Well, they just don't have any business to give to you. Talk about your open house strategy, Carl, because I love the way you do this.
So this is I'm going to tell you, so this is how you do it right.
Okay.
First of all, get a qualified list of real estate agents.
Step
And
number one.
step number one, I found the best way to do that. I'm going to give you two sources against my better judgment. I'm going to give you two sources. Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free, cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. So one is MMAmodelmatch.com. MMAmodelmatch.com. So, and that's not a site where they send Carl White a check because they don't. But what will happen is you'll get a substantial discount. It's about half, and it's less than half the price, to my knowledge, of all the other services that offer this. They're it's very, very, very inexpensive, and
Wonderful tool.
you can look up any agent, and you can download 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 all in one day, as opposed to being throttled by the other, kind of drag you on to make sure that you keep paying. Because frankly, it takes you that long to get the list instead of getting it all in one day. So no brainer, MMAmodelmatch.com. The other way, if you just like, hey, I don't want to look up everybody, just give me a list of qualified agents. If you go to qualifiedagentList.com, qualifiedagentList.com, you just write one check one time and they send you 1,000 qualified agents along with their contact information, of course, in
Mhm.
any area that you want. So I could do 300 in Atlanta, 300 in Tampa, 300 in Philadelphia, and 100 in Dallas, or 1,000 all in one big circle, like wherever you want to do it. So
Yeah, they put it all together for you.
yeah,
It's nice.
so great service. So and it's a fresh list. In fact, it takes about 4 or 5 days to get your list because they develop it live right then and there. So they actively go look and find the qualified agent. All right. So number one, get a list. Number two, call that list and find which ones are having an open house. And then what I would do is I would get them to agree to this, that I'm going to supply a door prize. And my door prize typically was a $20 Home Depot gift certificate, right? That's what I did. I don't think you have to
But
offer one. It's just what I
no,
did, right? And I picked Home Depot because they're out looking for houses, whatever. If there's a Lowe's in your town, whatever, doesn't matter. So I would give that gift certificate card to that agent along with a blank sheet of paper with it'd be an open house sign-in sheet. By the way, when I gave that open house sign-in sheet, I'd make sure that that I'd have one number in there already, like John Doe.
nobody wants to be the first.
That's right. And then I would tell that agent, have people sign into this to register for the $20 gift certificate card. And by the way, the agent picks the winner randomly. I say, hey, agent, close your eyes, point to one, and pick one. So then what I do is I give that and I tell the agent, hey, after you finish the open house, take a picture of it and text it to me. And then Chris and I do this with 10 different agents. So I've
Mm.
got 10 agents sending me all the people that signed in to their open houses over the weekend. And that one activity alone kept me busy for my first couple years in the business. That's how I did most of my business, was these open house sign-in sheets. And keep in mind, some agents won't do it, some agents will. All I need is about 10 out of the thousands of agents in your area. You only need 10 to agree to do this, and that'll provide you about 100 leads per week to call on. And these are people actively out searching for houses. So that's how you do an open house. So we don't need to go into all the details. And I think you got the gist of it is, and
Right.
particularly we have to be finished with this episode in about 2 minutes. and because you're getting ready to go talk to a loan officer and describe to them some of these ideas that we do. But that's how you do the open house. So get a qualified list, call them up, gift card, sign in sheet, text it over to you at the end of the day, and you follow up on those people like green on a pickle, and you report back to the agent every single lead that's on that form and tell them the results of it. And that's how you work an open house, not by actually going to them. Does that make sense?
And yeah, and you got to spend the time with your family or the lovely Mrs. White over the weekend, and you didn't
It
have
was
to
just a
go.
win, 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 win. And I'd get, instead of sitting at one, and having, and we'd get on average 10, 12, 8 to 15 families come in to the open house. But there's only one of me until I started doing it this way. And then I'm leveraging. And if an agent says, "Hey, I need you to work the open house," hey, I can't do that. This is over the weekends when I recharge my batteries. But I'll convert that list that you send over, and here's the gift certificate to help people fill it out. And the one that said yes, I'd work with. The one that said no, hey, no hard feelings. I just simply call the next one. So I only need 10 yeses out of thousands of agents, and that's how you do a successful open house.
Offers minus no's equal money.
Offers minus no's equals money. Hey, Kristen, how does a loan officer get lucky enough to talk to you and maybe get a copy of the little sign-in sheet that we used and some of the other strategies that we talk about? What's the best way to for somebody to get on the phone with you?
Freedomplanningcall.com. And they can schedule a call with me at a time that works for them. I'd love it.
Freedomplanningcall.com, and I'll make a personal guarantee. You do that call with Kristen, and if at the end of that call you think it's been a waste of your time, you let me know. Just simply, call the office and let them know, and I'll personally send you $200. No
Oh boy.
questions asked. Yeah, pressure's on you, Kristen. So it's my two
Pressure is
hundred
on.
dollars,
All
not yours.
right.
Yeah, but it's
I'm
my
down
two.
for it.
Yeah, it's my $200 put your money where your mouth is guarantee that you'll get great results from the call, specific activities of what to do. And if you feel like we wasted your time, I'll buy your time and send you $200. No questions asked, no hard feelings. So we cool?
I love it.
Freedomplanningcall.com. Thanks a lot, Kristen.
Have a great day.
Hey, go get your list and go do your open house. And then when you get on that call, report back to Kristen the results that you saw. So,
I'd
hey,
love to hear it. Yeah,
yeah. All
absolutely.
right. Thanks,
Thanks,
Kristen.
Carl.
All right. Bye.